Welcome to the second episode of the Digital Transformation Show. My name is Estefania Sarte, and today I have an amazing guest that studies here in Aarhus, and it's the CEO of a company called Dronaar. His name is Mikkel Venneberg. Mikkel, welcome thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you too.
So, first of all, I really like the story behind the name of the company that you're developing right now.
Yeah, it's a funny story. We started off trying to brainstorm on what to call our company. I think it was in the beginning of this year, and it was really hard. I think we worked for it like a week, but then we came up with spelling drones or Dronaar with just two A's, like in Aarhus, because it's a part of our company that we live here in Aarhus and we're based here in Aarhus, and it means a lot to us to be a part of this amazing city. We've talked about it a lot before as well, how the city has an ecosystem for startups like ours, and it's really, I won't say that our company is depending on it, but it's really developing inside of it, and we can feel that. So we wanted to make it a part of our name, so it became a part of our name.
Dronaar.
Dronaar.
Perfect. So I guess that a lot of people in our audience are very much familiar with drones and what drones do and what they are for, but I guess that some other people are maybe not that familiar with it. So what is exactly a drone? It's a robot, we can say that?
Yeah, you can say that.
It's a flying robot, basically.
Basically, yeah. I mean, the drones typically has two computers aboard. It has a computer for controlling all the engines and the camera and so on, and it also has a computer to control all the sensors and maybe also the sensors that you put onto it additionally and so on. So it really is a flying computer, a flying robot. Normally you say that the drones, when you think of a drone, you think of a flying thing with these four propellers on, the quadrocopters. But I mean, drones really can also look like planes. These autonomous drones that we are using, for example, Covi is using to take pictures for mapping and so on. It's fixed wing drones. So you can get them in all shapes and sizes. You can get them with 6 propellers, 8 propellers, actually also for farming. So that's the typical thing that you think about when you think about drones. But really, drones can be used for, I won't say everything, but you can use them for, I mean, all crazy kinds of things. So
you have already mentioned one industry that is using drones, that is agriculture, and we're going to talk about many more industries that are also using the drones for automating or making some processes more productive, more effective.
Definitely.
But I want to go back to the company right now, and I want to know what's the idea with Dronaar. What are you developing right now?
Right now we are trying to develop a digital platform that is going to connect certified pilots with customers all over Denmark and potentially in the future all over the world, for example, or hopefully. A huge problem in the industry is that it's really a niche industry, and it's really niche because for around 20,000 crowns, the pilots can get a license, they can get a drone, and they can be ready to fly legally everywhere in Denmark. For that money, you have both a license and a really good drone. So it's really cheap to get going. So the drone market on the pilot side really developed. There is a lot of pilots being certified and a lot of drones being sold, and a lot of drones also being specially made for some kind of purpose. I know a guy who is cleaning houses for a living, and he bought a drone that was a more expensive drone, and he mounted some kind of poison gun on the belly of it to remove bird eggs from the rooftops of buildings. I mean, he got that specially made, and so it really became a niche market. But the problem is that the market developed really much faster on the pilot side than it did on the customer side. You said that a lot of the viewers, for example, hopefully know what a drone is, but a lot of companies know what a drone is, but they do not know what they can use it for. So we have a lot of pilots, but we do not have that many customers. When we ask the pilots in our own research what the biggest problem is for them to develop their business right now, a lot of them are saying that it's missing demand. Our own research also shows that on average, the Danish drone pilot only has like 4 jobs a month with their job as a drone pilot, and that's not enough. We have a little over 5,000 drone pilots in Denmark right now, and they are not getting enough jobs. So we're trying to create this transparency in the market where the customers can go onto our page and post a specified job with, for example, in construction or whatever, and the pilots that have the specific requirements to solve this job for the customer will get a notice and say, hey, we have a job for you, potential job for you here, maybe you would like to bid on it.
Like a freelancing job matching platform.
Exactly.
All right, so what's the current state of the company right now?
The current state of the company is that we are testing a lot on our MVP and our wireframes. We've only been going with this idea for 6 months, so the development team has really been looking into how to make this platform as intuitive as possible, and we've been talking to some potential customers, interviewing them about their problems and issues in the market. So we've additionally, alongside with this development part, been doing a lot of research, also asking the pilots what their biggest needs and challenges are, and trying to solve them with some new and innovative solutions. Because besides this matching platform, we would like to give the pilots some digital tools to solve the issues that they have, for example, with planning these jobs, getting the right permissions to fly inside of no-fly zones, for example.
Yes, we were talking about the main challenges of the drone industry, and the main challenges of it most of the time have to do with legislation, for example.
Definitely. I mean, the legislation in Denmark is really, it's tough. It's really restrictive. And of course, I was almost saying, of course it is, because drones are really a new media platform, and it can be a little bit scary for people to have a drone hanging over them and flying around. But really, since the drones came to Denmark I think it's like around 10 years ago, in the form at least that we know today, there has only been 3 incidents, I think, where drones has actually fallen down and hit a person. And do you compare that to a lot of other, I mean, for example, just in the traffic, how many accidents we have there every day? Maybe you should look at trying to loosen up on these registrations or restrictions, just to see what happens. I mean, there are so much development potential in this business, but right now the legislation is really putting an end to it, or really stopping it in some way.
So again, we were talking before about all the possible applications of drones in several different industries, and you mentioned to me some quite impressive examples of what people are trying to do with drones over the world, like for example the shipping industry. Can you talk about some of those examples, please?
Yeah, transportation industry started with Amazon's idea about transporting packages out to their customers with drones. I think a lot of people have heard about the idea right now, but actually they are doing it in the UK right now. Their goal is to deliver packages to their customers inside of 30 minutes from the time that they place the order online. And I mean, that is going to change the whole market. I mean, the way that we shop and the way that we go around buying things inside of the city, or up on Strøget, for example. Why would people do that if they can have the package at their house in 30 minutes with a drone? So that's where the thought of transporting things with drones started, I think. In Denmark right now, they are testing flying cargo out to the ships on the west coast. They've been making a corridor in the airspace out there to test that, and they're also making a lot of tests on different kinds of really cool stuff in Odense, on H.C. Andersen's airport down there, where they made reserved a huge airspace for just for drone testing, and that's really amazing. So it's also really developing there right now.
So if I'm correct, what they are trying to test is taking the drones all the way to the trailers and containers, and lifting them up through the air to load the ship.
I don't know actually if it's potentially the big containers, but they can lift packages, quite big packages. The biggest challenge is that right now it is not possible for pilots to fly beyond their visual line of sight. So they need to be able to look at the drone all the time. They can fly, the drones can fly autonomously. A lot of people are flying autonomously right now, but they are always able to see the drone in the air and being able to stop it if it's going to hit something or something like that. But so right now it's actually not possible to like send a package from here out to Ronde, for example. I can't do that because I can't look all the way to Ronde. So that's one of the biggest challenges, I think, for the development of this business.
I really like the drone industry, and I'm very happy that we are having this chat with you, who are very much an expert on the field. And I really like it for many reasons. One of them is that automation and robotics are some of the technologies that are completely disrupting a lot of industries right now, especially drones, because they are flying robots. So it's something completely new to our era. And on the other hand, it's allowing a lot of people to get a job with very low amounts of time of qualifications. You can get your license, I don't know in Denmark how long does it take for you to get your license? 3 days. 3 days. So after 3 days you're a certified pilot and you can actually go out and start making money out of it. So this is also disrupting the employment industry in some sense. And then we also have some other applications of drones that have to do with, for example, delivering packages, delivering medical, pharmaceuticals, medical supplies into isolated areas, so it also connects in the world in many other ways. So the challenges, we said legislation, but on the other hand, we have also the topic about what do people really know about drones. So in general, what can you tell us about the current state of the industry itself? In the United States, it's pretty developed, I know.
Definitely.
How is it in the world?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say in the world because really we do not have that much data outside of the Western world on the development of the business. I mean, we know that almost all of the technology comes from China, comes from a company over there called DJI. I think they have 75% of the market or something like that. But really we only have data on like some of the European countries and then in the States. And if we look at the States, the state of the market is really that the construction and farming especially are booming. Really booming, and we can see that, for example, on a construction site, people are experiencing that drones give them an increase in effectivity of 52%. That's half the time. It's crazy, and at the same time as making it a half their efforts, it is giving them 62% more accurate data insights. So you actually get a lot more precise data on half the time. So I mean, I think that explains a lot where the market is going, because these numbers talk for themselves. The problem with countries like Denmark compared to the States, I think, is that you mentioned that word yesterday when we talked, that the Danes are really nostalgic. I mean, when we talk to potential customers that we know for a fact that they can really benefit of using these drones, they say like, well, we are using these lifts now, for example, and just putting a person up in the air instead, and that's working fine for us. And I mean, that's the biggest problem in the market right now, that we are just satisfied with status quo. And I understand that it's hard to adapt a new technology like this because it's really different from what we know. But if we look at the numbers, they just speak for themselves. It is really just counterintuitive not to adapt the technology, if you ask me, of course. But I can see how difficult it must be for companies, especially smaller companies, to adapt this technology.
Yes, I would say this is a thing that most of the companies working with digital transformation have challenged or have faced as a challenge, because of course disrupting a business takes precisely a will to actually disrupt it and change the status quo. So of course it's a big challenge right there.